How do you manage booking appointments on EKKLO? Booking appointments, whether you're an online coach, in person, or for group classes, is super important. And that's why on EKKLO, we've made something very simple and very easy to set up, and we're going to look at that together right now. So once we're on EKKLO, we'll go to the bottom left to my website. And so this is where we can see our own website. Now, if you ever want to set up your own website, I've made a YouTube video on that subject. So go watch it first and then come back here. So once we've created our own website with our photos, our videos, our skills, and so on, what we're going to do is click on share the website. What is that exactly? It's to see, let's say, in what way our website has been laid out. So we can see the photos, the videos, the skills, description, in-person details, and so on. We can see a bit of how our website looks. What we want is to manage appointment booking. So for booking appointments, we'll have two possibilities. Either it's a very classic booking section where the client pays for a subscription or pays once to access the appointment. Or we could have a credit section. What does the credit section actually mean? It's more like a session log or session packs. So your clients could buy, for example, a pack of 10 sessions for 100 euros, and they can reuse them every week or every month to renew the subscription. For now, we're going to see how to create a booking system, whether it's for in-person or online, it doesn't matter. So to create our first booking system, first we'll go to the very bottom of the My Website page and click directly on Coaching Hours. This is where we can properly configure our coaching schedule for our business. So we'll have several general parameters. First, we'll have the personalized message. So as soon as a client makes a reservation, we can send them a personalized message like, for example, happy coaching. We can also be notified when a client has booked an appointment, both on the coach's side and the client's side. Next, this part here is the most important. It's the minimum lead time before booking. If you don't want to be notified only 2 hours in advance that a client has booked an in-person appointment with you, then you set a lead time and you choose either 1 hour, 1 day, 3 hours. You put whatever you want. Once that's set, we can then set how far in advance they can book. So here, for example, if I set it, clients can book up to 3 months in advance. This avoids, let's say, if you go on vacation tomorrow or have an emergency, at least you can adjust it to whatever you want. So, for example, nothing's stopping you now. What I recommend is setting it to, let's say, 14 days, maybe 3 weeks, max that way. If you have a real emergency tomorrow, at least we can adjust things. It's just more practical. Next, we'll also have the cancellation period. So until when can your clients cancel their appointment? So here I put 2 days, but it could also be 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 months. You really put whatever you want. And this is also the most essential thing for the in-person part. It's the coaching hours section. Everything related to opening hours and coaching hours. So this is where you'll set your coaching time slots, whether in person or via video, it doesn't matter. So for example, you'll put Monday from such a time, 8 a.m. to noon, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. and so on. And each time you can check or uncheck the times when you're not available. And each time you can also add time slots to make it much more flexible. So there you go. Once we've created our coaching hour system, what we're going to do is go back and we'll be right on my website before we start booking appointments. You need to activate Stripe on the right. If there's no Stripe, there won't be any appointments. So there, once we've added Stripe to the app, we'll go down there and create a service. So how does it work? We'll have several service options. For example, we'll have an option where the client takes an assessment. So it could be an assessment before coaching, a weekly assessment with your clients via video, in person, whatever. Or also we'll have coaching. So here it's really coaching one-on-one that you do with your clients in person, for example, or it's also for group classes. You put whatever you want. I'm going to take, for example, one-on-one coaching for in person. We'll put the name. So I'm going to put, for example, one-on-one coaching there. We can also add a description, and we'll also put the different types of coaching. If you do in-person coaching, you'll check in person. For example, if you do online coaching and you want the appointment to happen only online via video, for example, you can check online and you can also activate a Google Meet. It's a little extra. Let's take the case here where I'm doing in person. I'm going to put an address. For example, I'll put Lille, France. It's good there. I've put an address in Lille. Then we can also put the duration of the coaching. For example, a one-on-one coaching session with a client will last 90 minutes. And below we'll have the different types of payments. So basically, either the client, for example, the coaching is free, which is very rare, but it can be offered like an assessment, for example. The one-on-one coaching with my client, he can pay for it all at once. So it's pay per session. So here, for example, I'll put 100 euros. So it can be the client will be able to pay online, all online, either pay a deposit or pay on site. It's up to you to decide. Or the client pays for a subscription as well. So the client can pay for a subscription. For example, he could pay 100 euros a month to then benefit from booking appointments with you. Or else we move on to the part. Payment in credits. So basically, your clients can pay for credits a bit like session passes. Your clients pay for session passes, session packs, to then have access to the appointments. So if tomorrow you're a sports coach, you'd add more of a session passes part. You then check every time. Booking an appointment with me one-on-one, it lasts, let's imagine it'll take 2 credits or 12 credits. You put whatever you want. And below, we can click on the button, activate online booking, which is, for me, essential. So this is where you'll set your slots only for the service. So only for the one-on-one assessment with your clients in the gym. So for example, I'm going to say, okay, I'll say I'm available on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Then we can set the slot frequencies. So for example, at what interval we'll offer the booking slots. You can put every 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, you put whatever you want. And the buffer time, let's say to give you a little breathing room between sessions, whatever you want. Once that's done, we're going to click save. And we can click the button on the right, share website. And so go back to the website in question and we'll be able to see that we indeed have a website. Theo Viril with the name, address, and so on each time. And the client then can click on book a coaching session. And we can see that he'll have several services available. So the client will have several options. Either they'll book a coaching session like we did for the in-person one. So in-person coaching program, they can click choose. So here, each time we'll have the booking slots that we set up earlier. As soon as a client books an appointment, it'll automatically appear in your EKKLO calendar. You'll see all the week's appointments, and you can even, if you want, sync EKKLO with Google Calendar. It's super simple. It takes 2 seconds. So there you go. Your clients can either book by paying, or they can book using the system of session passes or credits, which I mentioned earlier. For example, the group class costs 1 credit for the client. Well, the client can click choose. They can book based on the credits they have available. And if they click confirm, if the client doesn't have enough credits, they won't be able to book the session, which is quite handy to avoid having to track which client paid for what, who did this or who did that. So what I recommend if you decide to use the credit session pass or session pack part is to create a product called group class payment, coaching payment, whatever. For example, your client could pay 100 euros to get 10 credits. So everything happens automatically every time. The client knows where to buy their credits and where to spend them. We don't take any commission. And all the invoicing is automatically generated for both the coach and the client. Now, to make a quick side note, regarding the credit section, you should know that you can configure everything from A to Z. For example, if you go to credits in my website, you'll see settings here on the right. So we'll have several credit systems. For instance, to give you options, we can choose when the credits expire. If, for example, a client buys credits from you in early January but doesn't use them for 3 or 4 months, we can decide to remove them. Another setting, if you want to send a low balance notification, so when your clients are low on credits, we at EKKLO can send it to them automatically. You choose the credit threshold you want. For example, I want it at 3 credits, so your client will receive, "Hello Theo, your credit balance is getting low, please top up," for instance. And finally, we have another configuration part. So for example, if a client cancels, we can choose whether to refund them or not. It's up to you. And of course, on top of that, we can gift credits to our clients. So for example, if your clients paid you by card or at the gym or in cash, whatever the payment method, you can give them credits, no problem at all. So that's it for the booking part. Basically, to give a quick recap, booking is possible within the app. You just need to create services based on your availability with, for example, one-on-one coaching and so on. You can put whatever you want. So your clients can always book based on your available slots on your website. If you also want, as a coach, to log sessions manually so the client doesn't have to book, that's possible. You go to the calendar tab and it's the same principle as Google Calendar. So for example, let's say I go to week view, I drag and there, new event. So for example, I have a title, I'll put coaching with Theo here. I'll add a description. So for example, I'll put the same thing. And each time we choose if it's a group class or not, I'll put no. We can choose the service. So we can say, for example, that the client in question took the 44-minute one-on-one service. We can choose the participants. And each time we can choose whether to debit the credits of the client in question. So unpaid, paid, or debit a credit. There will be 6 left. And you can even, if you want, send a confirmation email to the participants. That way, as a coach, you have several possibilities. Either you let your clients book appointments themselves on the website, or you continue to manage the booking process individually, and it's up to you to enter the appointments as you go. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have other ideas, other questions, and so on, don't hesitate to go directly to EKKLO support. Well, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.